Welcome to my comparison of desktop printing adding machine calculators. I've decided to look at these side by side rather than doing individual reviews of each model. I think that people may find that useful if they're thinking about particular features and how they work on the different calculators. Then you might want to go through them. When I started this, I didn't realize how much material I would end up with. I've got probably an hour and a half of material, so rather than put them into one video, I'm going to break it into several, going by feature. The point there is look through my other videos, and within each one I'll have a table of contents of the features that it covers, so you can sort of jump around and look at my comparison of the different features as you go. The calculators that I'm comparing here are certainly not an exhaustive set of all of them, but it's a pretty good range of what's available and what you can get. We have here a Sharp EL 1801V. Those are pretty common. The 1801s with a different suffix are fairly common. A Canon MP11DX. These are still available, but the MP11DX2 is the newer model. I think the features are more or less the same. Back there we have a Casio HR200RC. This is functionally equivalent to the HR170RC. I bought this one new. It's quite inexpensive. I think that was about $37 at Staples. The beast of all printing calculators is the Monroe UltimateX. I got this one used. They're available direct from Monroe. They're not cheap, but a running theme through these is you get what you pay for. Back here is a very nice one from Victor, a 1530-6. I believe that is still available. It's kind of a middle-of-the-line calculator from Victor. And next to it is another interesting one, the Victor PL8000. PL stands for Prompt Logic, and as you can see on the display, that is displaying text. It's displaying a time and dates just sort of running on by. It has text, and it uses a thermal printer. It's the only one in this set that has a thermal printer. In my section on printers, I'll talk about that extensively. Look down at the table of contents, or in the description you'll find a table of contents of the various features that I'll go through. We'll also have some guest appearances from some other models that I have lying around. I don't work for any of these manufacturers. I'm not paid. I'm just a guy with an interest in calculators, so I don't really have a bias of any sort. I certainly do have my favorites. That will become fairly clear as we go along. But like I said, I'm not being paid by anybody. A previous video went over the functions that these all have in common, so I will breeze over that. My main goal with this video is to talk about what they have that's different from each other. I'll talk mostly about buying new, but let's devote a little bit of time to the used market and buying used. See the description in the table of contents for sections of the video in case you want to jump around. I suspect nobody's going to want to sit through this whole thing. Let's talk about possible deal makers and deal breakers, things that might really narrow things down. Well, the first has to do with power. If you're interested in really being able to port the thing around and you want battery power, then the Casio is probably going to be the one for you, or one of the others that is battery powered. The adding machine style calculators are almost all AC powered. If you really require batteries, you could also look at some of the mini calculators. These are more like your school machine. They're not the adding machine style ones, but they run off of batteries. A second factor is noise. I will give an example over here. If you do that, that Casio is quite loud. Some of these others, not so bad, not so bad. And the quietest is over here. The Victor PL8000 is virtually silent because it is a thermal printer. If noise is an issue because of the people around you, then that PL8000 is a good choice. The Casio is not a good choice, and the others are sort of somewhere in between. A permanent record. If you're buying a printing calculator, you probably want to keep a permanent record. The PL8000 with the thermal printer is maybe not such a great idea because that thermal paper tends to fade. All of these others are ink on regular paper. Text. The PL8000, we'll go back to that guy again. He can print out text. I will give you a simple example here. Let's just feed that a little bit. If you're familiar with these things and the cost sell margin feature, suppose you sell something for the cost of 100, you want a 25% margin, and you want to find out what the selling price is. We'll advance that a little bit, and it gives you these wonderful labels. It gives you this wonderful label of exactly what those numbers are, cost, sell, margin. The others just give you various weird symbols. Another possible deal breaker is cost. These range quite a bit in price. I will just say for now that you get what you pay for. We'll talk about that a little bit later on. Reprint. Some of these will let you enter something and print it out and then reprint it so you can get a second copy. The UltimateX there, the Monroe UltimateX, the PL8000, and the Casio all have the reprint capability. Finally, special functions, things. Oh, there's tons of different odd special things, two-column printing, spreadsheet type stuff, nickel rounding. The Monroe has tons of features like that. Unusual special features that I'm sure they created because they were needed by somebody at some point. If you need it, you need it. And you would probably end up with one of the Monroes.